Hello everyone, welcome to this discussion of Quant Section of SSC CGL Tier I examination that was conducted from 14th to 16th June 2025. In this session, we'll be focusing on the questions given on Quant part. So let's look at the first question here. The question is mainly based on BODMAS based application question. So if you look at the question, it is 30 divided by 3 of 5 divided by 2 into 10 is the thing that we are having. So whenever we are applying BODMAS rule, so first preference should be given to brackets. Next, we should give the preference for of, then division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So here, if we consider 3 of 5, of is nothing but multiplication, but of will be given preference over multiplication. So 3 5 is 15. So 30 divided by 15 will be having. So 30, if we are dividing by 15, it will be 2, we can say. 2 again, we are dividing with 2. So 2 divided by 2 will be 1. That is what we are multiplying with 10. So 1 into 10, it has to be 10. So answer for this question should be choice 2. It will be 10, we can say. An easy question to start our discussion. So let's look at the next one. The next question is based on trigonometry. If x plus y is 90 degrees and sin x is equal to 4 by 5, then find cot y is the question that we are having here. So it's basically x plus y is given to be 90 degrees, basically indicates the other angle is nothing but what we can say. Suppose if you are considering this as z, y x plus y, if it is 90 degrees, z has to be 90 degrees. So sin x is given as 4 by 5. We all know sin x is nothing but opposite by hypotenuse. So opposite to x, we are having this one. So this is given to be 4 and hypotenuse is given to be 5. As it is a right angle triangle, using Pythagoras theorem, we can say it is sum of the squares of the two perpendicular sides is equal to square of the hypotenuse. Suppose if this is something like a units, we are having a square plus 4 square should be equal to 5 square, or a square will be equal to 25 minus 16, 9 will be having. So a will be plus or minus 3, but side cannot be negative, so it has to be 3. Or the other way is using Pythagorean triplets. 3, 4, 5 is a Pythagorean triplet, we all know. As 4 and 5 are given as one of the perpendicular sides and hypotenuse, obviously the other perpendicular side has to be 3. So now if you are looking at, we are interested in cot y. So this is y angle we are having. Cot is nothing but adjacent by opposite. So cot is nothing but adjacent by opposite. So adjacent here for y is 4 and opposite is basically 3. So answer for this question should be choice 4, right? So this is based on trigonometry, simple, straightforward calculation we are having here. Let's move on to the next question. This question is focusing on percentage based calculations. So P is given as 30% of x, basically 30% x basically, plus 70% of y means 70% y. Q is 60% x plus 40% y, where x is greater than y. Q minus P is m% of x minus y is the information. What is the value of m? So Q, if you are observing, is 60% x plus 40% y. P is 30% x plus 70% y. So Q minus P will become basically 60 minus 30, it will be 30% x. Minus 40, I mean plus 40% minus 70% will become basically minus 30% y. Right. So if we take 30 common there, 30% common basically, it is nothing but 30% of x minus y. So this is given to be what? m% of x minus y. So basically m is nothing but correspondingly equal to 30, we understand. So answer for this question should be choice 2. It's a very, very easy question. It's a very, very easy question. Nothing is there in the calculation part. Let's move on to the next question. What is the remainder when 10 power 10 divided by 7? So 10 power 10 divided by 7, right? And if we observe here, dividing powers of 10 with 7 is slightly time consuming. So that is the reason we will take the help of binomial expansion. We all know from our school days, a plus b whole power n is nothing but binomial expansion. We consider it as, where we can write it as, this one final expansion, we can write it as a power n plus nc1 e to the power of n minus 1 b power 1 nc2 a power n minus 2 b square plus so on nc n minus 1 a power 1 b to the power of n minus 1. Finally, ncn, which is nothing but 1 again, plus into b power n we will be having. So if you observe carefully here, on expanding this one, all terms will have a except the last one. Up to the last but one also we are having a, whereas last term is only b will be having. So in the same way here, if you are observing, writing this as 7 plus 3 whole power 10, what we understand here is all terms will have 7 except the last term. So except the last term, as all other terms have 7, they all become divisible by 7. So the only term that is not divisible by 7 will be what? The last term. 3 power 10 divided by 7. 3 power 10 we can write it as 3 power 3 whole power 3 into 3 power 1 separately. Further, for our simplification purpose, we'll write that way. Dividing this by 7. 3 cube is 27. 27 we can write it as what? 28 minus 1 whole power 3 into 3 divided by 7. So again, here also again going for the binomial expansion. Expanding all terms here will contain 28, which will become divisible by 7, because 28 is a multiple of 7 we are having. So the only term that is not containing is 28 is what? The last term. That is minus 1 power 3 into 3 we are having. So minus 1 raised to odd power will be minus 1. Minus 1 into 3 will be minus 3. But remainder cannot be negative. So whenever we get negative remainder, add the divisor. That will give us the correct answer. So answer for this question should be choice 2, 4 we can say. Right? So this is slightly lengthy, and at the same time we have to be, otherwise, I mean, instead of going for remainder theorem or what we can say pattern method, this will be slightly easier approach for answering the question. Right? Let's move on to the next question. If k by 12 plus 12 by k is equal to 5 by 2, then what is the value of k cube is the question. So if you are just taking the LCM for the part that we are having there, left hand side part, k by 12 plus 12 by k is given as 5 by 2. So if you are observing carefully, taking LCM 12k, 12 will go k times it will become k into k square. K will go 12 times means it will be 12 square. 144 by, is equal to 5 by 2. 2 anyway we can cancel here 6 times. So in other words, what we can say, k square plus 144 is equal to 30k. Or else bringing that 30k to this side, k square minus 30k plus 144 is 0. So now if you are going for the factorization here, product of two numbers should be equal to 144 such that their sum should be equal to 30 here, because by plus sign we are having here. So 6 24s is 30. 24s is 144. 6 plus 24 is 30 we are having. So in other words, what we can say, this we can further write it as k square minus 6k minus 24k plus 144 is equal to 0. Taking k common, it will be k minus 6 minus 24 common, k minus 6 is equal to 0. Taking k minus 6 common, it will be k minus 6 times of k minus 24 is equal to 0. So product of two numbers is 0 means either of them is 0. So if first one is 0, k is 6. K minus 6 is 0 means k is 6. K minus 24, if it is 0, k is 24. Right? And what we are interested here is k cube value. And there are two possibilities here. One is 6 cube, the other is 24 cube. So one of the possible values only has mentioned here. So 6 cube to 16 we can say. Right? So answer for this question will be choice 4. But if you observe carefully here, left hand side is in the form of something like k by 12 plus 12 by k. Right hand side, if you observe carefully, 5 by 2. And we all know from our understanding that basic, what we can say, observation of the numbers, like 2 plus half is 2 and half, which is nothing but 5 by 2. So that means what we understand, k by 12 should be equal to 2, or k by 12 should be equal to 1 by 2. If k by 12 is 2, it will be k is 24. If it is 1 by 2, it will be 6. So that is the other way of interpreting the left-hand side part and getting the answer for that question, right? So let's move on to the next question. This is based on, we all know a plus b whole square is, a plus b into a minus b is nothing but a square minus b square, right? And we all know a minus b whole square is nothing but a plus b whole square minus 4ab. Here we are having x square plus 1 by x square. That is given as 3. This we can write it as adding 2 on both sides. X square plus 1 by x square plus 2 is nothing but 5. So this is nothing but x plus 1 by x whole square is equal to 5. So x plus 1 by x will become basically root 5, right? So x minus 1 by x whole square is nothing but what we can say, x plus 1 by x whole square minus 4ab will be having, right? So 4 basically, because x and 1 by x will be anyway cancelled. X plus 1 by x whole square will become basically root 5 whole square. That will be 5. 5 minus 4 will be having it as 1, we can say. So x plus 1 by x into x minus 1 by x will be for x plus 1 by x we have it as root 5. This is 1. So answer will be root 5. So x power 4 minus 1 by x power 4 will become basically x square plus 1 by x square into x square minus 1 by x square. So this will become basically 3 into root 5, which is 3 root 5 we will be having here. So answer for this question should be choice 1. Let's move on to the next question. Pipe A alone can fill 2/3 of a tank in a certain time, and in the same time pipe B alone can empty 3/4 of the tank. If pipe Q alone empties the full tank in 20 hours, find the time taken to empty the full tank by opening A and B simultaneously. So if you are observing carefully, pipe B alone empties the whole 3/4 of the tank in 20 hours. Whole tank in 20 hours. That means 3/4 of the tank, it will be taking how much time? 15 hours, right? In that 15 hours, A basically fills 2/3 tank. So in 15 hours, if it is filling 2/3, that means whole tank it will be taking 22.5 hours, right? So if A and B are open simultaneously, what we understand, A will be basically filling 1 by 22.5 will be having, which is nothing but 1 by 22.5, and Q will be basically, B will be emptying basically here 1 by 50, right? So LCM will be 45, right? And basically what we understand here is 22.5 will go 2 times here and 1 minute. The whole tank will be 4. Yeah, 22.5 it is 2 times will be 45, and this will be basically what we understand, 15 will be going 3 times. So minus 1 by 45 will be having, right? So if you observe carefully, it will be 1 by 45 is emptied, we understand from the given data. Let's look at the calculation. It is Q alone empties or B alone, basically that is the point there. Whole tank in 20 hours is the thing, right? So whole tank, if it is emptying in 20 hours, 3/4 tank will be emptied in 15 hours, we can say. In that 15 hours, A alone can fill it can fill basically 2/3 of the tank. So 2/3 of the tank it is filling in 15 hours, means whole tank will be 15 into 2 by 3 will be having. 2/3, 15 hours, whole tank how much? So it will be basically 1 into 15 by 2 by 3. That will be 45 by 2, 22.5 hours it will be taking, right? So if A and B are open simultaneously, 1 by 22.5 minus 1 by 15, 1 by 20, I'm sorry, I made the mistake here. It will be basically 20 here. So what we can say is LCM will become 180. That will be 8 times here, 9 times here. minus 1 by 180. That is where is the mistake. I made the mistake. The other way, yes, if you are going for this one, it will be slightly lengthy. The best way for answering this question is go for this one. Take the capacities ratio. In a particular time, A fills 2/3, whereas in the same time, B empties 3/4. That means the ratio of their filling rate and emptying rate are in the ratio 2:3 and 3:4. Going for the simplification, what we can say, 2 4s 8 parts, 3 3s 9 parts, right? So when A fills 8 parts, B empties 9 parts. And we know with 9 parts, it takes 20 hours, right or not? 9 parts, it takes 20 hours. When both are opened simultaneously or operated simultaneously, it will be one part is emptied every, what we can say, when they are working for simultaneously. This is filling 8 parts in a unit time, whereas this is emptying 9 parts in the time. So one part is effectively drained out. So to complete the whole tank, it will be 1 into, what we can say, it is basically inversely varying. So 9 into 20 should be equal to 1 into question mark. So question mark should be equal to 180. So answer for this question should be 180 hours, right? So we have to be careful in the last calculation. Normally what we think is it is basically 1 into 20 by 9 we think, but they are varying what you can say inversely. If two variables are varying inversely, their product remains constant. So 9 into 20 should be equal to 1 into question mark. So question mark value will become basically 180 hours. Sorry. Let's move on to the next calculation. Yeah. The profit earned on selling an article is 1 by nth of its cost price. If the profit is m times the selling price, find the value of m. So profit earned is equal to, profit is given to be CP by N, right? And we all know selling price is nothing but what? Cost price plus profit. And what he has mentioned here, profit is m times the selling price, right? So profit is m times the selling price. In other words, what we can say, selling price is profit by m. So profit by m, I'm writing that as CP is, anyway we have it as what? NP from this equation, NP plus P. So in other words, what we can say, P if we take common, it will be n plus 1 is equal to P by m. So P and P cancels here. So 1 by m is equal to n plus 1. Or else if we reciprocate, m will become basically what we can say, 1 by n plus 1. So we want m value, which is nothing but 1 by n plus 1. So answer for this question should be choice 1. Right? Slightly what we can say, different question from the regular flow, because normally we'll be having like 2 times cost price, 3 times selling price. In that way they will be mentioned. But this is giving us m and n. So little bit careful is required for answering the question. The next one, on selling 2 articles, this is a standard question that we are having here. A shopkeeper earned a profit of 20% on A and a loss of 10% on B. If there is an overall profit of rupees 78, the cost price of A is 500 rupees. Find the cost price of B. So if you are observing carefully, we know by selling A, there is a profit of 20%. That means selling price will become basically what? 120% of cost price. So SPA, that means selling price of A is 120% of cost price of A. And we have cost price of A as what? 500. So what we understand then, it's basically 120% means 12 5 60 means 600 rupees, right or not? Or else 6 by 5 times of 500 means 600 rupees. So selling price of A, we have it as 600 rupees, right? And there is an overall profit of 78 rupees. That means what we understand, as profit on A is 100 rupees and overall profit is only coming out to be 78 rupees only. That means there is a loss of 22 rupees on B or not. So loss on selling B is 22 rupees. But we know the loss on B is nothing but 10%, which is nothing but 90% of its cost price. Because if it is sold for 10% loss, it is 90% of its cost price it is sold. So 90% of CP, we have it as what we can say, 22. Sorry, loss is given, no? Yeah, loss is given as 10% means it is 10% of CP. I'm sorry. 10% of CP is given as 22. So cost price of B will become basically 220 rupees. So answer for this question should be choice 4, 220 we are having. I thought it is selling price is given. That is the reason I'm saying it is 90% of cost price. But what we are having is only loss. So 10% of cost price of B should be 22. So cost price of B should be equal to 220. Not a difficult question. Doable. Definitely easy question also for some of us. Right. Let's move on to the next question. The difference between the compound interest on a certain sum at 10% per annum compounded annually for 2 years and for 4 years is 7,623 rupees. Find the sum. And here compound interest for 2 years and 4 years difference is mentioned as 7623. Right. So here a small point. Suppose if we consider as this is a very big value, 110,000 as the principal. Interest at the rate of 10% for first year will become 1,000 rupees. This is I1, I'll say. So 11,000 will be the amount at the end of first year. Second year interest will be 10% again on this one, 1100. So it will become 12,100. Interest for third year will be what? 10% on this, 1210. It will be 13310. Interest for fourth year will be 10% of this, 1331. So it will become 14641 we can say. That is the amount. So what is the compound interest at the end of first 2 years will be 2,100. At the end of first 4 years will be 10,000. 14641 minus 10,000 will be 4641. So the difference is basically nothing but what we can say 2541. 2541 is the difference when we took 10,000 as the principal. But the difference in the problem is what? 7623. So how much should be the principal is the question. So 7623 into 10,000 by 2541. So 2541 if you are observing carefully. 41 3 is 123, 1 carried. 25 3 is 75 means 1 carried 76. So it will be definitely going 3 times here. So 3 into 10, it has to be 30,000. So answer for this question should be choice 1, 30,000 rupees. Slightly lengthy, not difficult one. The average age of a family of 3 members 6 years ago was 30 years. The present average age of the family is 2 years less than that 6 years ago due to the birth of a baby in between. Find the present age of the baby is the question that we are interested. So if you are observing carefully, 3 members average age 6 years ago was 30 means presently if all 3 are there, that will the average age will become 36 years. So 36 into 3, some of their ages will be 108 years we can say. Because we all know average is nothing but what? Sum of observations by number of observations. So sum of observations will be basically average into number of observations. So it's basically 3 observations or 3 persons are there. Average is 30 at that time is presently will be 36. So 36 years will be having. And the present average age is 2 years less than 6 years ago. 6 years ago it was 30 means presently it has to be 28. And now due to the birth of one more baby has mentioned, right? So basically, one baby basically. So now 4 persons are there. So their total age will become basically what we can say 28 4s 112 years. So basically the baby's age should be 4 years as of now. So answer for this question should be choice 3, 4 years. We have to be careful in dealing with that important point like as the baby is born, the average age will be decreasing. And it is clearly that 2 less means it has to be 28. And one more important thing, in these 6 years, as the age of each person increases by 6, average age will become directly 36. That is one more way of looking at the calculation rather than writing it as 30 into 3 plus 6 3 is 18. Because 6 years ago, it was 90. In these 6 years, 6 3 is 18, it will be increasing. So instead of that, directly we can say 30 plus 6, 36 into 3, 108 years. Let's move on to the next calculation. K can complete a piece of work in 20 days. L can complete the same work in 24 days. And M can complete the same work in 15 days. if they work, if they complete the work by working alternate days, such that K and M work together on the first day and LMN on the second day and so on, then how many days do they take to complete the work is the question. So basically, it's alternate days, but if you are observing carefully, M is working on every day, whereas K and L are alternating between the days. So if you are just observing carefully, the number of days taken by K is what? 20 days. L is 24 days. M is 15 days. We know some problems on time and work will become definitely easier if you are going for LCM approach than the standard methods. LCM for those three numbers is clearly nothing but 15, 20 if there means basically 60 is the LCM. But 60 in that one, 24 is not divisible. 60 doubled 120 in that one, 24 will be divisible. So let the total work be 120 units. K completes that 120 units in 20 days means per day he'll complete 120 by 20, 6 units per day. L completes 120 by 24, 5 units per day. M completes 120 by 15, 8 units per day. Right? So if you are observing carefully, they are working on alternate days with K and M are alternating, whereas M is working on every day. Let's look at the calculation further. Yeah. So K and M on first day will complete 6 plus 8, 14 units. Second day, L and M are working. They will complete 5 plus 8, 13 units. So every 2 days, this combination will complete 27 units. And what is the nearest multiple of 27 less than the total assumed? The total work that we have assumed 120. 27 force is 108. So 8 days they will complete 108 units. 9th day, K and M if they work, they will complete 14 units. But what to be completed is only 12 units. So one day they will complete 14 units. Now to complete 12 units, they don't require the entire time. That will be 12 into 1 day by 14 means 6 by 7 days we can say. So that means the work will be completed on 9th day with 8 days full complete days. 9th day only 6 by 7. So it will be 8 6 by 7 days we can say. So answer for this question should be choice 2, 8 6 by 7. Slightly lengthy. Better we come back to these questions whenever we have time. And the next one, if a 6-digit number 3758XY is divisible by 20, what is the maximum possible value of Y? As 20 is nothing but writing it as product of co-primes, 4 into 5 we are having. So what we understand there is it should be divisible by 4, it should be divisible by 5. It should be divisible by 5 means last digit should be either 0 or 5. But if it has to be divisible by 4, that means in other words, it should be an even number. It cannot be 5 in the unit digit. It has to be 0 in the unit digit. Then only it will become divisible by 4 we can say. And to have the maximum possible value for X, to have for X plus Y, give maximum possible value for X such that it becomes still divisible by 4. So if X is taken as 8, 8 plus 8 will become 8 plus 0, it will be 8. Will become divisible by 20. When we consider last two digits as xy, that means 8, 0, 8, 0, 80. It becomes divisible by 20. And the value for x plus y will become 8 plus 0, 8. So answer for this question should be choice 3, 8 we can say. Right? More of common sense than actually calculation involved in the calculation. The point is, the concept involved in the calculation. If you are observing carefully, it should be divisible by, it should be having the last digit as 0. To have maximum value for X plus Y, X should be as maximum as possible. 90 if you are considering, it won't be divisible by 4, but 80 it will become divisible by 4. That way we can answer the question at a faster rate. Right. Study the data carefully to answer the question that follows. Sales are given here for cars and mopeds. What is the difference between the average sales of mopeds and cars in thousands during the given period. That's what we are looking at basically. So in every case, we are having mopeds are higher. So 27 and 45, the difference is 18,000. 18 and 54, the gap is 36. So that is also 36,000. Rightly, we'll do the 1,000 part later we'll take. So 18 in the first case, 36 in the second case. So what we can say is the next case it is 42 and the last case it is 40. So basically 18 plus 36, what we can say it will be 54. 54 plus 42 will be 96. 96 plus 40 will be 136. 136 is the total difference. But we want average difference means divided by number of years. So 136 by 4 will become 34. So answer for this question should be choice 2, 34 in thousands we can say. Right. So let's move on to the next calculation. If m and n are two positive numbers such that m plus n is equal to 10 and m into n is equal to 16, find the value of m minus n we are basically looking at. Right. So m plus n is given as 10. So can we say m is nothing but 10 minus n. So m into n will be is given as 16 means m we can write it as 10 minus n into n is 16. So in other words 10n minus n square is 16. Or else bringing this entire thing to the left hand side, right hand side, n square minus 10n plus 16 should be equal to 0, which is nothing but factorization will be giving us n minus 2 into n minus 8 is 0. So n should be 2 or 8, right? If n is taken as 2, m will become, this implies m will become 8. And if you consider this as basically n as 8, m will become 2. Sorry, m minus n will become basically 8 minus 2. It will be 6 we can say. M minus n only we are looking at. Or else it will be 2 minus 8 minus 6 will be having. So answer one of them is mentioned in the choices, that is nothing but what we can say 6. Or the other way of answering the question is sum of two numbers is 10 and their product is 16. The only possibility is what? 8 2s is 16, 8 plus 2 is 10. So m should be 8, n should be 2. To get that m minus n as 8 minus 2, 6 directly we can say. Let's move on to the next one. If sin alpha by cos beta is equal to 8 and sin alpha by sin beta is equal to 15, then find the value of sin square beta. So if you are considering sin alpha by cos beta, dividing this by sin alpha by sin beta, right hand side will be 8 by 15. Left hand side sin alpha cancels. Sin beta goes to numerator. It will become basically what? Tan beta is equal to 8 by 15. So if you are again drawing the diagram for this one, suppose if we are considering this as basically beta. So beta is 8 by 15 means opposite to beta should be, tan beta is 8 by 15 means opposite to beta should be 8. And hypotenuse should be, adjacent side should be 15. Right? So if 8 and 15 are what we can say Pythagorean two perpendicular sides, hypotenuse will become 8 square plus 15 square under root. That is nothing but root 64 plus 225 under root means 218. It will be 289 means 17 under root will become. So we are interested in basically sin beta, sin square beta, sorry. Sin beta will be 8 by 17. So sin square beta will become 8 square by 17 square. So answer for this question should be 64 by 289. So choice 4, it will be 64 by 289 is the answer. So let's look at the next. If you know that one, nothing else is required for answering that question. Yeah. The area of the sector of a circle of radius 21 centimeters is 231 square centimeters. Find the length of the corresponding arc of the center, of the sector. We all know area of sector is given by half LR, where L is nothing but length of the arc, R is nothing but radius of the circle. So if you are observing, area of sector is given as what? 231. Half into length of the arc we know no. but radius of the circle is given as 21 centimeters. 21 11 is basically 231. So 11 is nothing but L by 2. That indicates L is what? 22. So if we know that area of sector is given by half LR, nothing else is required for answering this question. Much easier question. Otherwise, if you are going for theta by 360 into 2 pi r, pi r square, still we can answer, but that will be making the calculation somewhat lengthy. If the volume of one brick is 0.0025 cubic meters, how many bricks will be required to construct a wall of length 15 meters, breadth 0.225 meters, and height 4 meters? That's what we are basically looking at. We know volume of wall is nothing but length into breadth into height. So length is 15, breadth is 0.225, height is 4. So it will become basically 60 into 0.225 or else 6 into 2.25. Right. And we are basically interested in how many such cubes are required basically. How many such bricks are required basically. So 6 into 2.25 is the volume of the wall, dividing it by 0.0025. So 25 nines is basically 225. So here, if you are observing carefully, multiplying denominator with 100 or else multiplying numerator with 1000 and denominator with 1000 also won't be giving us this. So 10,000 if you are multiplying there, multiplying here with 10,000. So what we can say is 6 into 2.25, that is 9 by 4 or else, yeah, that will be better, I think. 2.25 if you are considering basically, we'll write it that way only. 225 into 100. Sorry, denominator will be basically what we can say 25. 25 nines is 50 to 25. So this goes 54 times means, 9 times means 6 nines 54 into 100, 5,400. So answer for this question should be choice 3, 5,400. So one has to know that volume of bigger by volume of smaller will be giving us number of times, number of bricks that are required there. Right. Simplify the following expression. 1 plus 1 by n into 1 plus 1 by n square into 1 plus 1 by n power 4 into 1 plus 1 by n power 8 into 1 plus 1 by n power 16 into 1 minus 1 by n is minus 1. Into minus 1 is nothing but question mark. So if you observe carefully, taking the first term and the last term together, it will be 1 plus 1 into 1 by, 1 plus 1 by n into 1 plus 1 by n into 1 minus 1 by n is nothing but 1 by n square. Right? A plus b into a minus b is nothing but a square minus b square. So it has to be 1 minus n square. So that if you are multiplying with the next one, 1 minus n square into 1 by 1 plus n square means 1 minus n power 4. Again, if you are multiplying with the next one, it will be 1 minus n power 8. Right? 1 minus, it will be n power 8. Yeah. Next time, if you are using this with again the next one, 1 plus n by 8, 1 minus 1 by n power 8 into 1 minus 1 by n plus 8. It will be 1 minus 1 by n power 16. So that into, again one more time, 1 plus 1 n by 16 we are having. So multiplying them, it will become 1 minus 1 by n power 32. Right? So minus 1 we are having there. So minus 1 plus 1 cancels means answer will become minus 1 by 30 n power 32. So it will be answer choice 4 we can say. Sorry. Yeah. The next one. In a circular race of length 2,400 meters, X and Y start simultaneously from the same point at the same time in the same direction and run at speeds of 30 kilometers per hour and 12 kilometers per hour respectively. After how long will they meet again for the first time on the track? So meeting for the first time anywhere on the track is given by LCM, length of the track by relative speed. Relative speed, as they are moving in the same direction, it will be difference of their speeds. Length of the track is 2400 meters. Their speeds are given to be 30 and 12, means relative speed will become 18, but that is in kilometers per hour. So multiply by 18 by 5 by 18. 18 cancels. 2400 by 5 will become 480 seconds, because 2500 had it been 500 times, 100 less means 20 times less. It should be 480 seconds, right? It's an easy question, we can say. Let's move on to the next one. P can do 66 2/3% of a piece of work in 8 days. Q can do 40% of the same work in 6 days. They worked together for 6 days and then R completed the remaining work in 3 days. Q and R together can complete or will complete 60% of the same work in how many days? Slightly lengthy question on time and work, we can say. P can do 66 2/3% means 2/3 of a work. So 2/3 of the work he is completing in 12 days means one-third work is basically the balance, right? So, or else if you are looking at whole work, how many times? That will be much easier. So whole work will become basically 1 into 12 by 2/3 means it will become 6 times means 18 days. So P can complete the whole work in 18 days. Same way, 40% is nothing but 2/5 part. So 2 parts is 6 days. Whole work will be 5 parts. So what we can say, it will become 6 into will go 3 times means 3 5 is 15 days. Okay. So they can complete the work in 18 days and 15 days. They work together for 6 days. In 6 days, P will complete in 1 day he'll complete 1 by 18. 6 days he'll be completing 6 by 18. That is nothing but what? 1/3 work. Right or not? P completed basically, it's only 12 days now, I'm sorry. This is given as 8 days. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So that will become basically 12 days. Yeah. So it will be half work he'll be completing. Yeah. So whatever is Q, we can say whole work in 15 days. 6 days he'll be completing 6 into 1 by 15. That will be 2 by 5. So 2/5 work is done by Q in that 6 days. So 2/5 is nothing but 40%. This is 50%. So 90% of the work is already done by P and Q. So that means what we understand, R is doing 10% work in 3 days. So 10% in 3 days basically indicates whole work will be completing in 30 days. Right. Because 10 times is basically 100%. So Q and R will complete 80% of the same work in how many days? So Q in 1 day will complete 1 by 15. R in 1 day will complete 1 by 18. 1 by 30, sorry. LCM will be 30. 15 will go 2 times. 30 will go 1 times. 30 by 3 by 30 means 1 by 10. So whole work they'll complete in 10 days. But we are not interested in whole work. We are interested in only 80% of the work. So 80% of the work they'll be completing in 88 days week. 8%, 80% of the work they'll be completing in 8 days, we can say. Right? It's an easy question, not difficult one. Right? Here, a pie chart is given, followed by some information in table. Study the data carefully to answer the question that follows. Data regarding the education infrastructure in different cities is shown in the pie chart, and the table is basically giving us bifurcation of them into 2 categories. One is colleges, one is schools. The other way of bifurcation is aided colleges and private colleges. Right? So the whole pie chart is converted into a small table part here, so that our calculation we don't have to move to the previous slide. So if you are observing carefully here, if the total number of schools and colleges in the given cities is 45,000, find the total number of private schools and colleges in Bengaluru. So if you are observing, Bengaluru is having how much share there in the total pie chart? 12%. So 12% out of 45,000 is basically what we can say 5,400, because 10% will be 4,500 1% will be 450. So 2% will be 900. 4,500 plus 900 will be 5,400. Out of that, we are interested in private schools and colleges. Private schools and colleges is having 13% share. Out of 13 plus 12, 25 parts in 5,400. 25 twos, 45, or else basically 400 we are having. 25 16s is basically 400. So 216 into 13 we are having. 21,600. I mean 216 into 10 will be 2160. 216 3s is basically 648. Adding up them, it will be 2808. Or the other way is, it should end with 3 because 6 3s is 18. There is only one choice that is ending with 8 there. So answer should be directly choice 4. We don't have to do the multiplication part completely. Let's move on to the next one. Yeah. In the following figure, O is the center of the circle. The area of the sector OPLQ is 4 by 9 of the area of the circle. Find the value of X. So, area of sector is nothing but theta by 360 into pi r square. Theta is X here into pi r square is X. 360 degrees into X by 360 into pi r square. And that is given to be what? 4/9 of the area of the circle, which is 4 by 9 times of pi r square. So pi r square cancels. 2 will go 2 times. 2 will go. Basically what we can say, 4 we are cancelling, 9 will be cancelling basically. So 9 will be going 40 times. So X will become basically 42 is 80, right? So 40 into 4, I'm sorry. It's not 2 times, so 40 into 4, 160. But I think the answer choices are given considering 2/9 of area. So if it is given as 2/9, then it will be 40 into 2, 80 will be matching. So it should be 80 degrees, provided it has to be 2/9 part. By mistake, it was mentioned as 4/9. So we need a correction there. So correction is basically 2/9. Then the answer will be 80 degrees, we can say. Let's look at the next one. A rectangle has a length of 12 centimeters and breadth of 8 centimeters. The rectangle is constructed to make a rhombus having the same perimeter as that of the rectangle. If one of the angles of the rhombus is 120 degrees, the area of the rhombus. So as the perimeter is same for both of them, what we understand there is it's a rhombus we are having. And in rhombus, what we can say is opposite sides, I mean all 4 sides are equal. So perimeter of the rectangle is nothing but what? 2 into L plus B. So 2 into 12 plus 8, it will become 24 into 2 means 40. As 40 is the perimeter of the rhombus, means each side has to be 10, 10, 10, 10. One of the angles of the rhombus is given as 120 degrees. So if we consider this as 120 degrees, in rhombus, the opposite pairs of sides are, angles are equal. So passing through that one, it will become 60, 60, 60 in the here, 60 in the upper portion, 60 in the bottom portion, 60 upper portion, 60 bottom portion. And anyway, sum of the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. So already we are having here 60, 60, 120 means this has to be 60. So it's, in other words, what we understand, it's an equilateral triangle. For an equilateral triangle, area is given by what? √3 by 4 side square. And 2 such equilateral triangles will give us 1 rhombus. So 2 into √3 by 4 is square, side square is our answer. So √3 by 4 into 2 will be √3 by 2. And S is we are having it as 10 square 100. So 2 will go basically 50 times. So answer for this question should be choice 3, 50 √3. So answer has to be choice 3, we can say 50 √3, right? So in that way, if you are observing, this is basically based on the different questions that were that appeared in the recent CGL examination. Based on that, this paper is made, right? So have a thorough practice of all the things and all the best for your examination. Thank you, all of you.